This podcast is not sponsored or supported by any business or organization. The views reflected on these podcast episodes are my own. Please be aware I am not a medical expert, travel agent, or any other kind of expert. Hey everyone, welcome to the Eat, Explore, Love podcast. I'm Ashley. This podcast is based off of my blog of the same name, Eat, Explore, Love. It talks about the unique challenges in traveling around the world when you have celiac disease. Due to sort of popular demand, I decided to also record a podcast to delve a little deeper into my travels and the lessons learned along the way. Technical note for this episode, I am in an apartment where there is no heat, so I needed to get a portable heater. The audio sounded a little bit better with you being able to hear the heater in the background than if I tried to use my AirPods or any other kind of microphone. So sorry for hearing the annoying buzz in the background, but I'm sorry. It just has to happen because otherwise I would be freezing cold. So on to the episode. I was in Brussels for a very short period of time for a work trip, but it was still an amazing experience. I got to dust off my horrible French speaking skills and eat some decent food and amazing waffles. This episode will be short, sweet, and to the point, but nonetheless, it's another Eat, Explore, Love the podcast episode. Belgian waffle a day keeps the doctor away. I went to a couple places, more than I anticipated to be able to go to, being that it was only a 3-day ordeal with it being a work trip. A place that I really liked was Vegan Waf, is how I'm going to choose to pronounce it. It's one of the 2 waffle places I tried, and I thought it was a really lovely, fluffy waffle. Whipped cream that was also incredibly fluffy and amazing with fruit and Nutella, and it was just incredibly spectacular. We all went to dinner at Ricotta and Parmesan. I went there with a couple of coworkers and they were very accommodating and very helpful there. It wasn't the greatest pasta I've ever had, but even though they were really busy and it was a group of us that were there, they were paying attention to what I needed them to pay attention to, which was really nice. Some more Italian options that I had, La Pasta di Mamma Regents or Regants, I don't know how it's supposed to be said, but I ordered that through Uber Eats from my hotel room, and it was another pasta dish. Also, it doesn't seem like Brussels makes great pasta, but it was just a little something to have lunch, and it was all worth it. A recommendation I've seen pop up a bunch of times in Brussels is the Sister Brussels Cafe. The waffles are a little bit more toasted, I guess, for lack of a better description. I personally like my waffles to be a little bit fluffier and more airy, but a lot of people really like it at the Sister Brussels Cafe, and it was good. My colleagues really liked the waffles that they got there. Gluten-free option was good, so go ahead and enjoy it. Let me know what you think if you get the chance to go and try it. Belgium is such a beautiful place with so much charm. With Brussels, I was there on a work trip, as I've said, so there was only time to really walk around the city at night. Luckily, Brussels is an easy city to walk about. The city is truly beautiful and reminds me a little bit of Paris, but on a smaller scale. The Grand Place Square seems to be the big touristy spot, which I went to and wandered around that area for a while. While speaking with an Uber driver, he gave me the impression that there wasn't a ton to do in Brussels other than that, but it seems like the perfect place to have a weekend getaway if you're already living in Europe. Or to spend a day or two if you're having a lengthier trip to Europe from elsewhere. Travel opens up your mind as few other things do. So I really enjoy my job. The biggest perk I find is the fact that I'm able to travel all over the place. It helped me travel all over the United States, and now it's helping me travel a little bit around Europe as well, and I'm really incredibly thankful for it. Although through my job, I only get to spend 2-3 days there. Sometimes I'm able to make it work a little bit longer depending upon when the video shoot hits of when I get to film it in the week, but it's a great way of getting to travel places I otherwise may not have thought to go to or would have, been willing to spend the money on for myself. But being that I got the opportunity through work, I do whatever I can to make the most of it. For those of you that are in the United States, and I'm still figuring out the European equivalent to all of this, so I can only speak for the United States of what I have done to make traveling for work a little bit easier, which then in turn makes traveling for personal stuff way easier as well. I recommend that you sign up for all the airlines that you can of being a member there. It's always free where you get an ID number, so when you book all your travel through work, you get miles that accumulate and add up. And then once if you travel enough for work or travel enough in general, by the time you get to your personal trips, you could use those miles to travel for your personal trips for free. And it's the biggest expenses are always the airfare and the hotels. So whatever you can do to build up those miles and be able to at least do the traveling for free, I highly recommend it. And in the US, I go through American Airlines. I have a number with JetBlue. And I also believe I have a number with United, though I don't usually fly with United for reasons that is for another place and another time. But my main airline of choice has been Delta. It's the airline where I feel like things go the most smooth, most consistently. It's also the airline that when I've had to travel abroad has been the best as far as accommodating gluten allergies. It's also when I have a more likelihood of getting a TV so I can watch a movie while I'm going from place to place. I really enjoy flying with Delta, but that's my personal thing. I recommend you sign up for all of the airlines that you can, and then you find out what works best for your needs, and then you delve real deep into the one airline and travel with that one airline as much as you can. Again, so you're able to eventually get free accommodations once it's your personal trips. Delta also provides me a credit card. I do a specific credit card through Delta, so I do all my work expenses using that credit card, and that helps me accumulate points as well in addition to whatever I'm doing when I'm flying. It helps me just gain a lot more points a lot faster. Also through the Delta card, and they've changed this process a little bit, but you can go and, depending upon the type of Delta credit card that you have, you're able to get a companion ticket. Domestically, you're able to get someone to fly with you for one trip. So I like to travel with my sister. My sister really likes to travel. So it's a perk that I plan on using in the future of getting a domestic companion ticket and her and I getting to do a trip together somewhere where her and I don't have to worry about the extra expense of taking her along with me. So that's really nice. And another perk with Delta is that I get to sit in a lounge. Again, that's the particular rule that has changed. Go look up on the Delta website and see what credit card works best for your needs. Depending upon the credit card that you use, you also can get access to free upgrades to first class, though that can sometimes also happen depending upon how quickly you're accumulating the points within the year. At January 1st, every year, everything resets. So highly recommend it. that you figure out what airline works best for you, sign up for all the points. So while you're figuring out, you're accumulating points in the meantime. And then once you figure out the airline that works best for your way of traveling, just pick one and really hone in on it. Another thing I signed up for was Global Entry and Clear. With Global Entry, you kind of get a little bit of a background check that has to be done. There's very specific locations that you have to go through a process, so to speak. Through Global Entry, it allows you that when you're going through customs, if you're traveling internationally, you're not waiting on those really long lines. It helps speed that process up quite a bit, actually. And then with that, you also get a TSA pre-check number. And TSA pre-check helps you not have to take out your laptop when you're going through security, not take your shoes off, not take your belt off. You still have to go through security, but you don't have to go through all of the things that make flying so difficult and draining. And I know that when I have to track a whole bunch of things, it stresses me out. I've left my license behind, actually landed at my trip, and when I went to go pick up a rental car, realized I left my ID in one of the bins at airport security because I was just so frazzled having to pay attention to so many different things and moving parts. So I like TSA pre-check. It keeps everything simple. So when you're getting Global Entry, you get a 2-for-1 deal, and that's mainly dealing with the security of going through the airport is TSA pre-check, and then Global Entry is about going through customs and making that process a little bit easier. Another thing I learned to sign up for is Clear. So you don't have to sign up for TSA pre-check and Clear. You can do Clear on its own. That line will just potentially be a little bit longer. I know in JFK they have a separate Clear line and a separate Clear with TSA pre-check line. So just make sure you keep an eye out at your local airport of how that all works. Basically, that helps you not need your ID necessarily as you go through. Every once in a while they do randomly ask you, okay, we also need to see your ID. But because they usually have you scan your eyeballs or your fingers, usually they're not asking you for your ID, and you're skipping all of the lines. Usually when I have my TSA pre-check and my Clear that I'm allowed to use, I'm through airport security in 5 minutes. It's super easy. With my American Express Delta card, I was able to get Clear at a discount, and then along with that Clear discount, I also got a certain amount of family members on my plan for an additional discounted rate. So if you have an American Express card, you probably qualify for this and getting that discount. And every time my mom goes through airport security, she sends me a text of how happy she was that she was able to have Clear. And I know she was traveling with my sister, and my sister was not feeling well, unfortunately, on a trip. And it made everything a lot easier of traveling back with someone not feeling well and not having to go through the rigmarole of a long security line, that they were able to just get to where their gate was, and to be able to just sit and relax so she can just rest. So there are many perks. It is an expense. To me, it's worth it, and you have to decide what's best for you as far as what expense you feel like spending based on how often you travel. I know my other sister does not feel the need to spend extra money on Clear because she just doesn't travel enough to warrant it. She just does the TSA pre-check, and that's good enough. I also, when I have work trips, I put a little kit together. So always in a carry-on bag is my kit, so to speak, where it has all first aid stuff. I need Tylenol, Dayquil, NyQuil, Band-Aids, anything, just little first aid kit, along with my own travel hairbrush, my own travel toothbrush, my own travel toothpaste. It's always in that bag, and that bag never leaves my carry-on bag. So whenever I travel, it is always with me and always ready to go. So it's less things I have to worry about. I have a travel set and I have a home set. So that's basically what the lesson I have for this week of what I learned or knowledge I can share with people, especially when you're gluten-free. I think a lot of people, what I've started to do is I've started to travel with groceries as well. I'm still learning and figuring it out. I know people that travel with coolers of their food. I don't feel the need to do that. I usually do granola bars, or I do just little basic things that aren't going to go bad that I I'm starting to build up my food kit as well, along with my other travel kit. So that way I always have food no matter where I'm at. I think it depends on the trip too. As far as how much room I'll need to pack clothes or other things. I also like to buy little trinkets and stuff for myself, and every once in a while friends and family as well. So I like to have room in my bag to enjoy the trip, and it's hard to think of food as well and track all of that. So I am still learning how to pack enough food that if I can't find food at a grocery store, especially when I'm on a work trip, and I'm not able to find things that can be delivered to me of wherever I am, it's finding that balance of what's going to be able to sustain me, what's not going to go bad, what's going to be able to fit in my bag. So I'm still building up that travel kit. I look at all the Facebook gluten-free support groups to see what other people are doing. And it seems to be that people go above and beyond when it comes to the food, because there's such a trauma associated with having celiac and traveling and something going wrong. And you look forward to your trips so much that the last thing you want is to get glutened. So I totally understand and empathize. I'm working really hard on another celiac podcast. I heard about someone saying that they don't want their celiac to define them. They just happen to have celiac. They are not, their entire identity isn't having celiac disease. And I don't personally feel that way, but I want to get to the point where I do feel that way, where having celiac isn't my identity. Because right now it definitely takes up way more of my identity than any other part of my personality. So I'm still working on that. If you have any recommendations, if you're someone that also has to travel a lot for work and you have celiac, I'm always open to hearing people's thoughts and opinions. I loved Brussels, and I cannot wait to go back, because I definitely think I would like to go back when it's a little bit warmer and it's not so cold, just to see what it's like. And there's places in the surrounding city of Brussels too that are apparently really lovely to go to that I would love to go check out. So with all that said, here are the wrap-up questions. Do I feel the city is safe for those with celiac? Yes, I do. Where was my favorite place to eat? Vegan WAF. It's WAF. If you want more information on that, you can go and check out my blog. Favorite memory from the experience? Getting to know my coworkers. It was my first work trip with my European colleagues and getting to know them, and they're quite lovely people, and it's always a great bonding experience to travel with your coworkers. Is this a city to vacation to or live in? It seems like it's more of a city to live in, but I do think you can go visit. But it seems the emphasis would be to see the surrounding area of Brussels, not necessarily Brussels itself. I think that's like a quick day trip type of thing. Is this a place to relax or be active? I think you can relax in Brussels. How were the people? They were fine. Not too mean, not over the top kind, but just right. So that's Brussels for you from my perspective, and I hope that it makes you want to go visit. And of course, if anybody has any questions about traveling and how to make traveling experience as easy as possible for you, I'm more than happy to talk it out with people. Just send me an email at hieatexplorelove@gmail.com. See you next time. Thank you for joining me this week for all the fun journeys and lessons learned on my big adventure called life. For more information on the different cities discussed, check out the blog posts on hieatexplorelove.com, posted every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you have any questions or fun stories to share, feel free to reach out at hieatexplorelove@gmail.com. Until next week, remember to eat well, explore the world, and love yourself. See you next time. This episode is produced, scripted, and edited by me, Ashley. Special thanks to Sarah Mientka.